ओम सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So last time we saw Brahma Jignyasa. Any questions, clarifications on that, or it's all fine? The whole thing about Karmani Sashti, Sesi Sashti, all that thing we saw. Clear up to now? And we also saw that page 62, Jnatumichcha Jignyasa. That also we saw. Avagati Paryantam. Until you know, the Jignyasa has to be kept going, Vichara has to be kept going. Simple, straightforward. That Karmani Sashti, etc. is more of a technical argument rather than. But a technical argument is important because you are trying to bring in other things through the back door. By saying Sesha Sashti, then other things will come in. Sambandha will come in. Then all that you have given up, you will have to bring back again.
So, Swami, when it comes to Shesha, Buddhi, and you said Sambandha, so Sambandha Shabda means there are two things.
Yeah. So what happens is with Brahma Jignyasa, when you are saying Sambandha, all that is necessary for Jignyasa, then they will say by Sambandha bring in Purva Vivamsa everything.
So Jnana Karma Samuchaya.
Then all those things, arguments can come in after. It's what you call the thin edge of the wedge. Okay, now he is clarifying certain arguments from there. And he is saying, Tat Punaha Brahma Prasiddham Aprasiddham Va. यदि प्रसिद्धम न जिज्ञासितव्यम अथ अप्रसिद्धम नैव शक्यम जिज्ञासितम इति. We have seen a bit of this argument, but we are seeing it more elaborately now. Again, punaha, this Brahman, is it prasiddham aprasiddham? Prasiddham meaning well known or not known, aprasiddham. Why? Yadi prasiddham, if it is well known, okay, na jignasitavya. If it is well known, how can you have jnatum ichcha? If it is well known, you can't have jnatum ichcha. You can't have vichara either. Yadi aprasiddham, atha aprasiddham, naiva shakyam jignasam. Then how you can have a Jignyasa to know? You don't know anything about it. Completely unknown. At least, okay. If you have heard something, you can have some Jignyasa about it. Otherwise, we have not heard anything. We can't have Jignyasa about it. Okay. Then he says, Asti tavad Brahma nitya shuddha mukta subhavam sarvajnam shakti samanvitam. Tavad Brahma asti. First is the establishing this. Shastre Brahma asti. Okay. What is that Brahman? He says, Nitya shuddha mukta swabhavam sarvajnam sarvashaktiman samanvitam. This type of Brahman is there. How do you know? Brahma shabdasya hi vyutpatyamanasya nitya shuddha buddhavadayaha artaha.
Vadayoga. Nitya Shuddha Vadayoga.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Now he's saying, put it like this. Okay, this is, you have to keep in mind that the language of the time was Sanskrit. Those days you didn't have to be educated to know Sanskrit. though Sanskrit is a classical language, in ancient Italy, they were speaking Latin, whether educated or not, because that is common language. So in India also Sanskrit was a spoken language, though some people dispute it. Okay. That's why they conducted an experiment near Shimoga, the villages. Even the mochi and the dudwalais are speaking in Sanskrit. How much literacy do you expect in a mochi?
There is one village in India where they only speak Sanskrit.
They only see in Sanskrit. So, then what happens is, you hear Brahma Shabda. Dhatu Pata, this, that, etc. You hear. Then you look for the meaning. Brahadvad Brahma. Brahman means that which is big. How big, not said. See, all this is only from the language standpoint. How big, not said. Now you know linguistics enough to say that, okay, if how big is not mentioned, there is nothing to limit the bigness. No noun like elephant, mosquito, etc. following big to limit bigness. It should mean limitlessly big. If it is limitlessly big, it should be Nitya Buddha Shuddha. Or you can say, Apata Jnanam is there. Some exposure to the Shastra. Someone is doing an Abhisheka. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahmedi. You are using that for Abhisheka. Somewhere that Nitya Buddha Shuddha Brahman Asti iti. Asti iti Jnanam is there. There is something called Brahman. You don't know clearly what it is. Nitya Buddha Shuddha, etc. is vague. But you have that knowledge. Okay.
Swamiji, so
Yeah.
this Prasiddham and Aprasiddham argument,
What is that?
the Prasiddham and Aprasiddham are the statement
Yeah.
of Brahman. Like so, the entire Hindu thing, everybody goes to the temples, right? And everybody is doing the Ved shlokas,
Yeah.
where the word Brahman is
Will come in, exactly.
But very thin percentage goes to actual
Always minority.
study. So then, even though it is Prasiddham or Aprasiddham, it's not opening up.
That is not the argument. The argument is for those who have Jignyasa is a Prasiddham or Aprasiddham.
Okay.
Is it possible? It is true. It is always a minority that will come for it. Kathopanishad, remember? Paranchikani Vetarnak Swayambhu Paran Pashyati Nantaratma. All your focus is external. Focus is external. Therefore, you are not going to look at it at yourself. Then Kaschit Tiraha, some thinking person. Avrutta Chakru, etc., etc., etc. So it's always a minority. That's not the question. The question is Jignyasa possible? Does the condition for Jignyasa exist? That is the thing. Does the condition exist? That exists. That's what he's trying to do. Not that whether everyone will have Jignyasa. In fact, when people come to Vedanta, many of them it's coming out of just, I want to be free, or I'm not happy as I am, I'm willing to try out something. You start like that also. You start with Mumukshutva. Mumukshutvam is universal. Jignyasa may not be universal. Mumukshutvam is universal. Why? Freedom from pain and wanting pleasure. This is common for all living organisms. That's an expression of mukshutvam, Avoid problems and get the good things. Where is it coming from? Because as I am, I am not fine. I have to avoid the problematic situations and I have to get pleasure, get happiness. So mumukshutvam is universal. Then it has to become discerned mumukshutvam. If mumukshutvam is not discerned, what will the person do? Anything. Khao piyo maja karo. There is a party tonight. Why? Because I want to have a good time. I want to feel happy. I will be known people like that. I remember I knew this girl. Very a senior air hostess. Then was involved in marketing of the airline and everything. Then she left the airline. Okay. When I knew her, she must have been 30 years back, 30s or something. You know? Yeah. Yeah, late 30s, 35, 36. Mumukshutva was there. Why? I can take only a part-time job, half day. I will start working only by 12 o'clock and I knock off by 6 o'clock. Why? Because I want to party every night.
Is mumukshutvam or moksha?
Mumukshutva, the desire for moksha. Why? I want to party every night. So 6 o'clock you come home, have a shower, this, that, etc. Party. Then you're partying half the night away, when will you get up? The milkman, everyone had instructions. Nobody is going to ring the bell before 9 o'clock. No calls before 9 o'clock. Then after that everything fine. 12 o'clock you start work, 6 o'clock now. Every day. So she couldn't understand someone like me, so different. So one day we sat down and had a nice long chat about it. Purpose in life, this, our priorities, etc. Whole thing changed. She became a senior consultant for Lakme because her interest was beauty and beauty products and everything. In fact, Lakme wouldn't introduce a new shade in the market, especially lipsticks, etc., without consulting. Yeah, to that level it went. So, mumukshutvam, then purpose in life. Then you discern what that mumukshutvam is about, really speaking. It gains a focus. It's not about what I have, it's about what I am. After that, Jignyasa. So, from a person on the street to Jignyasa itself is a long journey. Once you have Jignyasa, it's one small step. This is where it takes time.
Swamiji, can you give an example of like when a person has mumukshutva and it gets discerned and then it turns into Jignyasa. So then how it gets...
See, all of us now, how did we start? Everything is not right with me. So I tried various things. Then I heard about purpose in life, etc. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Then you gained a focus. You said, yeah, okay. That's what you're after in life. Being a fulfilled person, not what I have or what I don't have. Then, to be a fulfilled person, it has to be knowledge, knowing. That's a big step. People come, maximum they walk into a class as mumukshus. Everyone doesn't walk in as jignasus. Or like how I walked in out of curiosity. Kya dekhega? Mumukshutvam was there. And curiosity. Yeah. Interested in so many things. If you find a person interested in a lot of things, that means mumukshutvam is high. Why you are trying on various things, no? Yeah. Because you want to find that fulfillment. Or someone who is going in depth into something. In that person also mumukshutvam is high because you want to know the truth of that thing. So these are two real lakshanas of high mumukshutvam. Then that has to be discerned. That's what you see here. How does the Jignyasa come up? Because you have heard about it. Some apata jnana is there. So in modern language and modern times, when Sanskrit is not the common language, people may not have heard it. But there are enough subculture books dealing with it. Jonathan Livingston Seagull, Razor's Edge, Somerset Maugham. So these type of books are there. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Repair, our time, cult class. Cult class. But that's a book is a classical example, right, of Swatantrena Brahmanveshanam na kuriyat. Independently don't try to look into Brahman. Because he went almost this thing, into depression and everything like that. So that book highlights both. So these are the type of things where because of which Jignyasa is possible. That means what? Samanyataha prasiddham, visheshataha aprasiddham. In a general manner it is known. कोई ब्रह्मा है, सर्वज्ञः सर्वशक्तिमान, भगवान है ना, some higher power. Or there is something like that is limitless. Then if you start thinking of it, that limitless cannot be separate from me, yaar. Oh, okay, I am part of that. Somewhere some Jignyasa will start. Want to know more about it. Or you will go into quantum physics and say, the possibility that we are living in a virtual world. You're all part of a program, part of someone's dream. Then you look, is there any ancient text dealing with all these things? Because now it is no more physics, it becomes metaphysics. हाँ, मांडू के कारिका में देखेगा उसमें. So, in a way, Vedanta is always presented with some religious background, though it can be presented without any. It's presented with some religious background because that will trigger off greater Jignyasa and Bhakti, Ishvara Anugraha, etc., which is necessary for the whole thing. Therefore, Samanitaha Prasiddham, okay. Artha Pati, Brihate Dhato Artha Anugama. By just understanding the meaning of the Dhatu Brihat, you will come to some sort of understanding that Brahman has to be limitless, Brahman is free from time and space, therefore unconditioned, because limitless necessarily has to be unconditioned. All these things you will come to. Therefore, it cannot be conditioned by anything in the world. Okay, Nitya Shuddha means you are not conditioned by anything in the world. No. So, all these apata jnanam you can have by Brahma Shabdena. Dhatu artha. So, sarvasya atmatvacha Brahma astitva prasiddhi. Again from the Shastra you will hear, I am Atma, Brahma, etc. You have not understood everything. That Brahman is supposed to be me. Kaisa ho sakta hai? Yeah, not possible. Even if you say not possible, it doesn't matter. Why? Jignyasa can be there with that. Then why is the Shastra saying? Now, if I have disrespect for the Shastra, I can say it's all foolishness and dismiss it. That is why some Shraddha in the Shastra is put right from the beginning. Why? Because you'll be willing to examine it. Why do you think colonial powers and the leftists wants to ridicule the Shastra, etc.? Because only then you can attack at the basis of your culture. Leftists are interested in destroying any indigenous culture anywhere in the world. But indigenous cultures are tenacious, they will survive. Like in China, a lot of it is destroyed, but a lot of it survived. Tibet, same thing. These are all leftist forces. I don't know what they have against tradition, but some Kali Yuga thinking it is. Even liberal thinking aligns itself to more leftist thinking than. Though you can be a traditional person and still be liberal about things, but that liberal thinking, which values, now in liberal thinking, they say diversity, which is fine. All right, cultures are diverse, therefore have diversity, perfectly fine. Then, from diversity, which is different cultures, different heritages, it will come to different feelings. Now, all feelings are valid. See, a person has a right to have a feeling. Doesn't mean that feeling is always right. No, what is right or wrong about feelings? Because there is a thinking backing that feeling. That thinking can be right or wrong. The thinking can be right or wrong. Because that's logical or illogical. Because then today if I feel like a woman, I am a woman. Tomorrow I may feel like a man, I am a man. Therefore every day I have to now relate to you differently. Today my pronoun is multiple. You have to address me as they. Either say I, say. Wokism, how it goes into liberal thinking, which started as accepting different cultures, societies, etc., religion, which is fine, which is beautiful. But if you push it too far, like tradition, if you push tradition too far, it may end up in orthodoxy, which is a problem. So, there's where the whole thing goes. Okay. Therefore, sarvasya atma vacha, you have heard it somewhere. Okay. सर्वो ही आत्म अस्तित्व प्रतीयते न नाहम अस्मीति. Not only that, everyone says I am. Universally, the experience is I am. Nobody experiences I am not there. मैं हूँ ना. I am is taken as granted. Therefore, there will always be something as what exactly is this I am. The search for, in modern words, the search for identity. I don't want to be known as somebody's wife, somebody's mother, etc., etc., etc. What do? You go and pick up a job, but then you are known as employee of this company. That's another identity, another role, another reference point. So somewhere that will also start. Who am I? What am I? And again, with respect to this, there are subculture. Songs also available. Gulla na jane me kaun hu. All that is what subculture things. He doesn't say who he is, but encouraging the Jignyasa. That much is there. That much role it has. Or that movie, मैं ऐसा क्यों हूँ वैसा क्यों हूँ. Yeah, that's also okay. Why am I what? At least some thinking will trigger off. Why am I like this? Or Rajnikant answer to that, enna raskala, we are like this only. So why are you like that only? Anything. Since Brahman is connected with everything, Atma is connected with everything, anything can trigger off thinking on that. Anything can trigger. And if you experience existential issues, isolation, loneliness, who is not experienced? This is the teenage angst. At that time you experience this the maximum. Then what happens after that? After that it gets covered under the pots and pans of life. यार घर चलाना है यार, शादी हो गया, relationship, children, house, yes. Under all that it gets buried under. You are so busy managing your life, you forgot where you are heading. Yeah, you are so busy managing your life. So many things to be done, no? Where are you headed? Shut up, yaar. मेरे को खाना पकाने का है. Shut up, I got to pick up this kid from school, take him there, take that kid and take him. Where are you headed? I'm headed there to the school. So, if you missed it in the teenage angst, generally you'll go get it once your children are a little bit grown up and you can take a bit, okay, carrier, alright, abhi thoda stability. By that time you are at least in your 40s. This is how life is. Huh? Yeah. But underneath the desire for moksha is there. And Jignyasa can be triggered off. Mumukshutvam is always there. Mumukshutvam is always there. You got married because of mumukshutvam. I got married because I want moksha. Yeah. How do you say that? You seeking fulfillment through marriage. That you didn't get it is an experience fact. Because marriage is not meant for fulfillment. Marriage is meant for emotional, physical, companionship, this, that, etc., intimacy, all those things. Yeah, it's not meant for moksha, but you thought that will give it to you. You climb the corporate ladder. Why? Because I thought that power, position, etc., I'll feel fulfilled. You stood for election, become chief minister. Why? You thought that'll get it fulfilled. So, any trip is about that. It is moksha that drives everything. In fact, it is moksha that drives evolution as well. If survival of the fittest was what drove evolution, you know which organism is best for survival? The cockroach. It will survive a nuclear holocaust. Why shouldn't have evolved more than that? If you are looking at organizational efficiency, then an ant colony is the most efficient, or a beehive is the most efficient. You need not have evolved more than that. But we did. Right? Because we are seeking fulfillment. Therefore, we needed more complex equipment. So, moksha is behind the whole thing, but not enough. From I want freedom, I have to understand that freedom comes only by Atma Jnana. So there is enough subculture, enough opportunities for you to think about that in the Shastra itself or in the culture. Yeah. There's a big thing going viral about a small kid, 7-8-year-old kid, talking about Atma Jnana and Asli. So somebody will look at that, oh my God, that kid is so confident. What is the kid talking about? Atma Jnana, etc. He kya hai? I must know more. Even the kid knows, yaar. If you have not seen that, I will put it up in the book. It's not complete, it's not proper knowledge or anything. There's a lot of errors in it, but you'll think, even the kid knows. Let me find out what it is about. Because if you as a child knows and you know nothing about it, that can trigger it off. That type of feeling can also trigger off the desire to know something. Or you may say cute kid and go on also. That also is possible. Most will do that. Hey, cute kid. Some will say, hey, let's see what it is about. So that's always there. There are enough occasions given in the culture, in your struggle for existence. How you are having some difficulties in life. Okay? You go to an astrologer. Hey, because you've tried all known things. Guru dosha is there. I don't have a guru. What guru dosha? Ask like that. What should you do? Chant Vishnu Sahasranama daily. So is my phalam, in the Phalashruti, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, all that is mentioned. Dharma, Artha, Kama I can understand. Moksha kya hai? Jignyasa. Can you see?
Moksha is
You want to, huh?
mentioned. Moksha is mentioned.
Yeah, in the Phalashruti it is there. All this thing, when you make a sankalpa, what do you make a sankalpa for a puja? Dharma, Artha, Moksha, Siddhyartham, Durita, Kshayartham, all that you will make in the sankalpa. Ordinary sankalpas, not a refined sankalpa. Ordinary sankalpas will make all that.
So, sorry, I have a question. Even if moksha is discerned into Jignyasa, it again depends on how intense that
Mumukshutvam is.
or that desire to know it. Otherwise, it may not work. I mean,
That's only a small percentage will come. What is Shankara establishing here? The possibility of Jignyasa is there. If someone doesn't take it up, that doesn't mean possibility is not there.
Even after discerning, like how far to.
Yeah, that depends on the strength of Mumukshutvam. That's why it's mentioned there separately, no? Mumukshutvam. It is like going to a restaurant. Healthy options are there. Healthy options are there, no? Hey, palak paneer, healthy option. But what do you do? Arey, burger bhi hai. So, just because 80% of the people take burger, but the fact that palak paneer is there means at least 20% are taking it. Why will you keep it there? So the healthy options are there. If you don't take it, that is not because the possibility is not there. It is because you are making a wrong choice. Or a right choice. So similarly here, there are enough occasions for Jignyasa. Brahman is known enough. Atma is known enough for you to have Jignyasa. It is samanyataha prasiddha. In a general way, it is well known. But Brahman aham asmi iti, or I am, but I am satyam jnanam anantam, unknown. Okay, I know I am. तस्माद हे तस्माद आत्मा आकाश संबंध ब्रह्मी आकाश है एक्सेट्रा इसका हम क्या बात कर रहे हैं दैट पार्ट आई डोंट नो द फैक्ट आई एम दिस थिंग दैट मच आई नो देखो सामान्यतः प्रसिद्धम विशेषतः न प्रसिद्धम यदि ही न आत्मा अस्तित्व प्रसिद्धि स्यात् सर्वे सर्वो लोकः नाहम् अस्मि इति प्रतीयते. If I was not prasiddham as I am, then everyone will experience as I am not there, which is not your experience. Nobody experiences I am not there. Though some misguided people do search for shunya. Shunya means what? I don't exist.
Ego is there not to say that I am there.
You have to be there to say that.
Exactly.
You don't say that. In fact, I even looked at some of the shunya meditations that are given. Just emptying the mind. Or in Qigong, etc. What is the most important thing in Qigong? Your central channel, the three dantians, three power centers. So you will visualize them and visualize its non-existence. You will make it disappear. Make it disappear where physically it is there, only in your mind it is disappear. That's not shunya. You are there very much to make it disappear, make it appear. After that you have to make it appear. Why? Because you have to go to the world again. Na? You have to deal with the world. So before you end the meditation, you will make it appear again. Therefore, Naham Asmiti is nobody's experience. As I told you, whenever I meet a great Buddhist master, I always greeted him like that. And to the Buddha, my salutations. I will always greet well-known master, not ordinary Ambedkar Jayanti, you see a lot of Buddhist monks running around. So may I just nod and go ahead. That's a professional courtesy. He also. And they'll always tell me, I am not the Buddha, not yet. I said, why? I'm evolving into Buddha. Because I have not experienced I am nothing. How do you experience I am nothing? You can't. That's one experience you can't have.
Swamiji, maybe the shunya they were using with respect to mind because the entire
It's only
philosophy
emptying
is on
them.
mind.
That's why nobody gets the experience of shunya. Therefore, nobody can become a Buddha according to them. They're only evolving into Buddha. Many lifetimes it will take. That's why they always postpone it. Many lifetimes. You're only looking at the tip of the iceberg, they will say, isn't it? Because it will take many lifetimes. Because this lifetime is not possible. See, if this lifetime is not possible, why should it be possible in the next lifetime? Yeah.
Even in Tai Chi paradigm, Tao, nobody knows.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
we don't know what.
So that way, as far as the spiritual part is concerned, there is a limitation. Because Aham Shunya, I can't experience it. I have to be there. So it's not possible. Therefore, Naham Asmi iti, nobody experiences. Aham Asmi. Then you can say, what am I? Okay? And Atma is presented as Brahman. Atma cha Brahman. That's how it is presented. You have heard about it. I am Atma Brahma. Suna hai. You may not know what it is. Good enough for Jignyasa. In fact, that is the condition. To have heard about something, but to not know it clearly is exactly when you want to know it clearly. May want, may not want. But the possibility of wanting to know clearly will exist only if you have some idea about it. Therefore, Jignyasa and Vichara both possible. Now, he is now establishing the need for Vichara in the next paragraph. Huh? The need for Vichara. Yadi tarhi loke Brahma atmatvena prasiddham. If in the world, okay, Brahman is very well known as the Atma, tataha jnata eva ityevam jignyasatavyam punaratmanam. Then Brahman is jnatam, you don't need a jignasa. But you know, I'm Brahman. You go and ask a wise person. You want to know Brahman? किसके लिए? I know. न तद विशेषम प्रति विप्रतिपत्ते. And with respect to that Brahman Atma, there will not be different opinions. Okay, there will not be different opinions. When can you have different opinions about something? Let us say there is only one thing, whatever is that. And three people have three different opinions on it.
Then they don't take on.
Then you don't know clearly what it is. You have some idea, but you are not clear. Opinions can come only when there is lack of clarity.
They have point of view, they don't have third view.
Yeah, exactly. So if there is clarity, there is no different opinions. If it is totally unknown, what opinion you will have? What is your opinion about Lado Ladakh? Yeah. So an opinion is possible only when there is lack of clarity. That means what? Two things. It is generally known and you need to get clarity. Both are there in it. Okay. Deha matram chaitanyam vishishtam atmeti prakritaha janaha lauke tirthaha pratiparmaha. One opinion. The conscious body is the self. Prakrita Loka, the general people, public, ignorant, they will take the sentient conscious body as myself. Lokayata, so the materialist also, they will take it like that.
Swamiji, I have a question.
Hmm?
I have a question.
Yeah.
In Apara Vidya, any Apara Vidya,
Hmm.
only mathematics is very defined,
Yeah,
whereas physics also is not defined.
yeah, true. Even
Yeah,
mathematics
because
at certain levels is not defined very well.
Huh?
Even mathematics is better defined than other branches of knowledge. But it is also not very well defined, very well clear like that.
No, suppose like 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, so 3 is the, all the 3
Yeah, at simpler levels, yes. Simpler levels, yes. But the very fact that doctorates are gained in mathematics, different facets of it. There are problems which are not, they don't have solutions yet. Mathematical problems, yeah.
But
So,
to large extent, we can
yeah,
say
to a
that
larger extent, yes, better definite than other systems like physics, etc. Better. But physics, etc., nothing is well defined. Nothing is final. Nothing is final in physics also. Why? Because you are trying to look at the reality of the world, and that approach is limited. It's a unidimensional approach. Each Apara Vidya has a finite approach. Therefore, it's not holistic. It is bound to be limited. And if it is limited, it is not complete knowledge. Therefore, opinions will come. That's how any knowledge of any given discipline grows like that. No? You will present something from your observations. There will be a thesis. Then somebody will oppose that. There is an antithesis. Somebody will try to synthesize both. Then that synthesis will become the thesis for the next antithesis. This way will go on. All of science grows like that. Any discipline of knowledge grows like that.
Swamiji, also Apara Vidya is by humans only. So
Yeah.
there will be a human error always.
Exactly, human error
Apara
always.
Vidya will be from Vichara. So
Correct. Therefore, he is presenting now various opinions. Deha matra. Okay. Then Indriyani eva Chetanani Atme iti apare. For Indriyas are the sense organs. Okay. Alright. Then Manaha iti anye. Strong point. Mind is important. All psychologists will think like that. Okay. So mind is the only important thing that is there. Vijnana matram kshanikam ityeke. The kshanika vijnana matram. Both are. This is the reality. Then shunya iti apare. Nagarjuna ityadi. Okay. Atma shunyaha iti Bauddha view. Mahayana Bauddha view. Asti deha vyatirekta samsari karta bhokta iti apare. No, deha vyatirekta atma is there, but is samsari karta bhokta. All ritualists, Purva Mimamsa, etc. Okay. Bhokta eva kevalam na karta iti sankhya. Purusha is only bhokta, not karta. They must have said it looking at the Indian husband. Or the Indian children, bhokta iti karta. Asti tad vyatirikta Ishvara sarvajnaha sarvashakti iti kecha. No, other than the jiva, there is Ishvara, sarvashakti, sarva, etc. Yogi, Sa Ishvara Sankhya. The yogi says it like that. Atma sa bhoktuhu iti apare. Atma is bhokta apare. All these are what? Okay. Bhokta iti apare. Here, bhokta is Anandaputra. Okay. That is actually speaking the Vedanta view. Because the previous bhokta is already said. The Sankhya view has been presented. So this is the Vedanta view. Ananda Swarupa. Bhokta is indicating. It's not expressly said, but it is indication of that. Okay, Bhokta is Evam. See, he is not dismissing anything here. That will come later. He is not dismissing any view. He is just presenting that there are various opinions about Atma, Ishvara, Brahma. इतना views है ना? What does that show? एवं बह विप्रतिपन्ना युक्ति वाक्य तद आभास आश्रया संतः. All these different viewpoints, he says, are dependent on some yukti abhasa. Some shruti yukti abhasa. The person in the right eye is the Purusha. Upanishadic say Eva Purusha. And you have some logic. Body walks, I walk, body talks, I talk, body sits, I sit, therefore I am walking. It is not logic, he says, because it is dismissible. Therefore, it is only an abhasa. Annam brahmeti, body is. But that is dismissible by the second statement that is coming. That means what? The first statement is not Shruti, it's only an abhasa, it's only a standpoint. It's only a standpoint. Chandrashaka Nyaya, na? You are using it step by step to understand. Similarly, the logic is also an abhasa. Why? Dismissible by better logic. It's important to understand that the Shruti and the Yukti quoted is only an abhasa. Logic is not perfect. Even seers in logic is mithya logic. Seer seen is mithya. Who said seer seen is satyam? We go by Drigdrishya Viveka as though Drigdrishya Viveka is satyam. No. Why do you go by Drigdrishya Viveka? Come to the Atma, Chaitanya. Then you say that Chaitanya Brahma eva. Therefore, that is Idam Sarvam. Now what happened to your Drigdrishya Veda? What happened to your Drigdrishya Veda? Because you are saying Idam Sarvam, all this is Brahman. So Drigdrishya Veda is used only to come up to a certain point. Even that yukti is not complete. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Now what yukti you need to prove that? Therefore anything can be used as stepping stones. Otherwise Drigdrishya Veda is also that one. Are you understanding this point?
So Swamiji, here Atma Sa Tuhu Iti Apare. So that also is denied.
Yeah, because we are not really speaking with the
Satchidananda.
You are Anantam, limitless. So Anandam you can say only when you come to the mind. Tatra vicharya yat kinchit pratipadyamanaha nishreyasa pratihanyate anarthachasya. Yeah, tatra avicharya yat kinchit. Therefore, without vichara, anything that is pratipadyamana, anartham eva sya. Yeah, because all these various viewpoints, which viewpoint will lead you to being a fulfilled being? In all these viewpoints presented, which viewpoint will make you feel fulfilled as a person? Not all of them. Not all of them. Anartham eva sya. Tasmat Brahma Jignyasa Anus Upanyasa Mukhena Vedanta Vakya. Therefore, for Brahma Jignyasa Vedanta Vakya Vichara. For knowing Brahman, that Jignyasa has to become what? Vichara into what is Brahman. Okay,
Swamiji, here Upanyasa Mukhena.
Upanyasa means as a present. Yeah. Okay, Vedanta Vakya Mimamsa Tad Virodha Tad Avirodha Upakara Nishreyasa Prayojanam Prasviti. That means what? Understanding this will lead you to moksha. Therefore, atato Brahma Jignyasa will become what? Sadhana Chatushkaya Sampannartham Tad Vijnanartham Gurumeva Vikachet. Okay? And Brahma Vicharaha Kartavya. Brahma Pramana Vicharaha Kartavya. That becomes the full sentence. Atato Brahma Jignyasa, the full sentence will become that after Sadhana Chatushkaya Sampannam, go to a right teacher, etc., and proper manner, all that thing. Understand that it is what you are looking for is Brahman, clarification of priorities, all that thing. Then what is Brahman? Do Vichara into the text that deal with, into the Pramana that deals with Brahman. Therefore, Brahma Jignyasa will become Brahma Vicharaha Kartavya. Lakshanaya. It will become Brahma Vicharaha Kartavya. And Brahma Vichara will become Vichara of the Pramana. Therefore, yat shastram Brahma Pratipadite tasya vicharaha. You vichara into that text that will reveal Brahman. Therefore, you have to understand how the Shastra vichara has to start.
So, Swamiji, the implied meaning is that without you it is not possible.
Yeah, that Atha Shabda brings in. Atha Shabda brings in. So Atha Shabda brings in the change of focus. The first Atha brings in all the necessary qualifications. The second Atha gives you direction. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to look for it?
So this
All that.
Upanyas,
Upanyasa means present, it is a presentation. Then you have to do Vichara into the Shastra that deals with Brahman. What you want to know is Brahman. Look at it. Look at how it starts. What you want is moksha. Okay? It started with what you want is moksha. Then what you want became what you want to know. Brahman. Therefore Brahma Jignyasa, all this argument. Then for Brahma Jignyasa to be fulfilled, it has to be Vichara into the Pramana that deals with Brahman. Therefore, Shastram Patali. Vicharita. You have to do a Vichara into the Shastra. Are you seeing the step that it will move? Otherwise, we will wonder why you are studying. Yeah. Yeah.
Swami, here,
Yeah.
they have assumed that at a body level, mind level,
Yeah.
you have done lot of vichara
Yeah.
to
To reach Brahma, yeah, exactly.
It's a big jump.
You built it up, exactly. And see how he has said it. He has not dismissed any viewpoint here. He has not bothered about dismissing viewpoint right now. You see, many viewpoints about one vastu indicates confusion. If there is confusion, you need to analyze and see what is the truth. Simple as that. Because here, in the first sutra, his job is to establish the need for vichara. Not what is Brahma. That will come later. Second sutra. But you have to establish the need for vichara. Vichara is necessary.
That part when he says mind, body, senses,
All that he is not bothered. He is not
denying it.
dismissing any right now. He is saying different opinion hai kya nahi? Hai. That means what? There is lack of clarity. If there is lack of clarity, you have to get that clarity. Finished. That is the thing. So get that clarity. Various schools of thought exist. Correct. So many. From science also you can pick up. From your an evolutionary sample onwards. Oh, how will a biologist look at all of this? Anyway, they are all evolutionary samples. It's a new research. They found that the prehistoric person, the Neanderthal, the prehistoric, pre-human beings, and the woolly mammal shared some DNA. Why? Same environment they are living in, same this thing, and one was eating the other. So you are what you eat. So now what do you want to be? You have to eat for generations to affect your DNA.
upakarana.
Hmm?
Upakarana is what is the meaning there given for the upakarana?
Tad avirodhita upakarana.
Avirodhita tarka.
Avirodhita tarka upakarana.
Tarka upakarana.
Yeah, using upakarana they will be using. Avirodhita tarka, tarka that cannot be dismissed.
Anukula tarka.
Yeah. Anukula to the Shastra. Therefore, avirodhitam by other tarkas. Upakarana. Nishreyasa prayojanakam prastuyate. Nishreyasa prayojanakam. The whole thing is what? Because you started with the desire for fulfillment. He has to keep that in you. Why are we doing all these things? I want to be a free being. I want to be a fulfilled being. Okay. That's how you started. Then we got Brahman into the picture for that. Then Brahma Jignyasa. So for being fulfilled you needed Jignyasa to know Brahman. Then to know Brahman you have to go into the pramana that deals with Brahman. Therefore Vichara comes into the picture. Therefore it's establishing how you go about it also. There is no other way.
There's no other way, but for everybody it's very different.
Yeah. So chap karo, tab karo is not enough.
For each individual, it's like right from the starting point to.
That's why to come to Vedanta you have to go through a long way. That's why by the time you discern this is what you want, Gita is over generally. हो जाता है ना, right or wrong? The time you discern, yeah, I want this, Gita हो गया. In fact, one of the teachers was saying, whole 3 years has gone by the time you discern you wanted. Full time, whole 3 years are gone. होता है कभी कभी ऐसा.
But it is so beautiful that any point can be the like
trigger.
Upanishad, Mandukya, everything is so vast.
Anything
and
can trigger
complete.
off Vichara. Yes, Jignyasa can be triggered off by anything, and that's the beauty of it. I know one person who came to Vedanta fed up of the sheer materialism in his home. Everything I want to khao, piyo, maja karo, this thing, that thing, that thing. His father was like that, mother was like that, brother. Says, what are we doing out of all these things? He got so fed up of it. Yeah. He didn't come from a great religious, holy background. Hey, khao, piyo, maja karo, that's all the family was interested. So he got fed up with it. What are we doing? He triggered off a different type of thinking. Anything can trigger off. When you start questioning life, you will come to Vedanta. If you don't question life, you won't come to Vedanta. In short. Therefore, Athato Brahma Jignyasa will become Athato Brahma Vichara Kartavya. Pramana Vichara Kartavya. Then how are we going to do Pramana Vichara? Next Sutra will start next class. Okay.
This English translation is very confusing.
Huh?
English translation is very confusing.
This is the best available. Yeah, this is the best available. Good place to stop. Oh, that's